Hey there. Today we're going to go over roasting coffee beans from Peru. But before we do, there is a sequence that you have to follow when you're using a Macintosh and Artisan software with a hot top roaster. The sequence has to be followed so that you can reproduce additional cooks after you roast the first set of beans. The first thing you have to do is you have to connect the USB cable to the hot top roaster. Then you've got to connect your USB dongle to your MacBook. Then start your Artisan software on your MacBook. And start your software on your hot top roaster. Then you can connect the USB cables. Once they are connected, you need to synchronize by clicking on the clock and then clicking the control button. This will start the drum rolling on the roaster. Once they're communicating, you can start the program by hitting the on button. And the program that you've configured will now run and control the hot top roaster from the Artisan software. This is a series of steps that I have in my control program. Yours may differ and you'll get used to this over time. Once the process has started, the roaster needs to come to temperature before anything can happen. So I've sped up the video. In the meantime, we can go ahead and pour out our beans and get ready for the cook. In this particular cook, we're using 190 grams of green coffee beans. This stage will take some time. You've got plenty of time. It's going to take a few minutes for the roaster to warm up. But once we get the right amount of beans and we're set and ready to go, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to wait for the charge time to come up. The charge time is the temperature which we've decided we're going to start the roast on. In this particular case, it's 290 degrees. When we get to 290 degrees, you'll see the charge temp, and then we'll move over to the roaster and we'll pour in our green beans. Pouring in the green beans is going to cool the roaster down. It's going to look like it's flowing down, but in fact it's just warming the beans up and coming back up to temperature within the roaster. The next stage of the roast is basically a waiting game. I've again sped up the video so that we don't have to sit here and watch the graph build slowly. What we're waiting for is our next interaction. The next interaction is going to be the dry end phase of the roast. This is where the green beans have completely changed over to a yellow color and they start to smell like hay. You'll see the part on the graph, and then you'll be able to look at the beans and you'll see the yellow color inside the roaster. And it'll, like I said, it will also smell like hay. There's the beans, the orange to the side is the actual burners in the roaster. And you can see that we've marked it. You have to mark it with your mouse on the software to hit dry end. The cook will continue to go on, and hopefully our rate of rise will continuously go down as the bean temperature continuously goes up. The bean temperature is the blue line. The red line is the temperature inside the drum. Now, when you hear the first crack, you hit the first crack button, which I've just done. And you're in first crack, you're listening for the end of first crack. If you hear it, then click the end first crack button. In this particular case, we actually made it to second crack before we dropped. Once we drop, the immediate task is to cool the beans off. They're, of course, 400 degrees, so they need to be cooled rapidly. What I found is that in the Hottop roaster, the automatic tray doesn't cool quick enough. So I have an external pan that is specifically for cooling the beans. So I basically just take the hot beans out of the roaster, pour them in the cooling pan, stir. You have to continuously stir until they cool off. It only takes a couple of minutes. Then, when the roast is over, you can go back and look at the roast, and you can see how your roast did, and you can see how much time each stage took. The important piece of this is that now you can use this graph to build your next roast. You can see what worked, and you can add more of that, and you can see what did not work and remove what parts you didn't like in the roast. Thanks for watching, and we will see you on the next roast. Stay tuned.